Oh, your brother from the gutter, the slick one back behind the wood for the open bar. Never a cover. Never a minimum. Get it while you can. Yeah. So it is the night before the NFL draft. I haven't talked to you in a little bit. In Donald Trump's world, you don't talk to somebody in a week and there's like 15 different crazy ass things that happen. The latest is the one good thing. I got to give him props for this. I think he did it because he's sucking up to Joe Rogan. Because Joe Rogan has been disappointed in Trump because of the Iran war. And what he did was, this was, something Rogan is into, psychedelics, as you know. And so there's been, YouTube, Netflix, I've seen some talk about, the last few years about possibly this is going to happen where they're going to give psychedelic drugs to people that have PTSD or severe depression where other regular drugs or they haven't had luck with any other shit. And I did see a story on TV where they brought some people to an island and they had them all trip. And these were veterans that had a lot of issues. And, some of them it didn't help. Some of them it did. So, you know what I mean? It can't be a bad thing. You know what I mean? As long as they do it under a doctor's watch and all this type of thing. Probably the same kind of thing as electroshock therapy when you think about it. Or you get one with the planet, man. You become one with nature. That's what I'm trying to do. So, what is going on? NFL draft tomorrow. The Bills, are they going to take a pass rusher? Are they going to take another weapon for Josh Allen, a wide receiver? Perhaps there's been talk of maybe a defensive tackle or even a linebacker, an inside linebacker in the first round. So who the hell knows? But there are some good pass rushers. There are some good wide receivers that are going to be there. Some people think that they may trade down if the person they want isn't there. They maybe trade back and, try to pick up an extra fourth round pick or something, or fifth or whatever. So I guess the suspense will just have to be in suspense. What was that old joke? How do you keep a dipshit in suspense? Ooh, how do you do that? I'll tell you later. Remember that one? Yeah, that proves I'm old. So I always got into the draft. I've been watching the draft since '83 when they had Dr. Z and, Howard Balzer and Chris Berman used to host it. And nobody watched the fucking thing. There's a bunch of, it wasn't a big extravaganza like it is now. What they had was, they had like 32 tables, right? And they would send one dork from the team, somebody that's not important, from the personnel department. And he would sit by the phone, and they had these helmet phones. And he would get a call. So-and-so is on the clock. The Oakland Raiders are on the clock. And the dude would just sit there, and he'd be on the phone, and then they'd hand an index card to somebody, to some usher, and they would take it up to the, Pete Rozelle, I believe at the time, and he would they'd just read it out. Or maybe it was Tagliabue. I'm talking early 80s. But, it was not a big deal like it is now. And I believe this year it's in Cleveland. So, it's good for the city. Put it to some fucking Rust Belt cities. We need the help. We need a shot in the arm. Dallas doesn't fucking need these parties, or Phoenix, or wherever the fuck they've had them in the last few years. Nashville, they got enough business. So, now it's a big thing. The NFL draft.
What the hell's going on out here?
Yeah, so I don't want to get into too many names, okay? But I'm just going to mention a couple. I'm not going to bore you with names, but a couple would be wide receiver Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M. He has been linked to the Bills. He came here for a visit, and this dude is off the hook, awesome. Also, people they brought in, wide receiver Chris Bell from Louisville. Austin Barber, an offensive lineman, a guard. I believe he's an offensive tackle. 6'7", 318 from Florida. There's only one offensive lineman that they brought in for a visit. It was mostly wide receivers and defensive tackles and a couple of linebackers. There are some good defensive tackles that could go that way too, but don't you want to see Josh Allen get another weapon so we can really run the score up on the Patriots? Yeah, so, I mean, they got some good wide receivers in this draft, even if they don't get one in the first round. But Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston is another dude that's really good. A lot of good receivers in this draft. There's this Zach Branch kid, or Zachariah Branch from Georgia, who is kind of like a Tyreek Hill type, little speedy guy, also can return punts. I know we could use an edge rusher. There's a big defensive tackle from Ohio State as well. That's really awesome against the run. They could go that way. But, you know, what do I know? What do I know? I am not a professional scout or a professional general manager, but sometimes I play one here on Slick's Open Bar.
Medication time. Medication time.
And how about the Sabres, huh? How about that first game here last Sunday night? I mean, that was that off the charts? That was one of the best hockey games I've seen in I don't know how long. I mean, the ending where they just came back from nowhere. It's like a Bills game where, you know, they're going to come back. You know they're going to come back. And they did. But then they shit the bed, was it last night? Tuesday night? As I'm recording this on Wednesday night, Thursday morning on April 23rd. Hope you had a good 420, by the way. You know I did. So I don't know what happened. But hopefully they get it together. When's the next game? Thursday night in Boston? Yeah. So let's hope the Sabres can turn it around here. You know they can. We could beat these clowns.
I smoke a lot of dope, and I get drunk, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and how about in music news, the Rolling Stones' new single released as The Cockroaches, and only on vinyl. That's the only way you can get it. Now, this is the advanced single from the soon-to-be-released album coming out, I don't know, I forgot, a couple of months or something, or was it July or spring? I'll look it up for you, but it's easy to find out when the album's going to be released. But this single on white vinyl, released as The Cockroaches, and the song is Rough and Twisted. And I've only heard the first 30 seconds because that's all they can play on YouTube, and it rocks. So, I mean, it's really a mystery, though. So check this out. They only printed 1,000 of these vinyl singles of Rough and Twisted, The Cockroaches. And so, obviously, if you got one at one of these independent record stores, somebody said they just saw one for, now this is a week ago, somebody saw one for $800. So it's probably worth double that now. But I mean, if you know, for these hedge fund managers that happen to be Stones fans, if you know what I'm talking about. Oh, I wanted to tell you, I watched the new Paul McCartney documentary, Man on the Run, I think is the name of it. I think it's on Prime or one of those. I can never remember. Yeah, Man on the Run. And it's all about the post-Beatles days. But it does touch on the breakup, like right from the beginning of the documentary. And, you know, why they broke up and all this shit. John and Paul and, you know, pissing contest. And they had the different lawyers. But there's some cool insight to it. And then there's a lot of awesome home movies and shit from when he was out on the farm in Scotland. And, you know, just the whole story of Wings went through a couple of, you know, 2 or 3 different incarnations of Wings before he just said, fuck it, I'm just going to be Paul McCartney. And just well done for a documentary. Saw the Zeppelin documentary. That was good. I don't think it was as good as the McCartney one. But I finally watched the Zeppelin one, and it's pretty much all about how they, you know, got together and the first album, you know, pretty much. And they just touch on Led Zeppelin 2. And then it just goes off the road. It's just gone. It's over with. And it's like, what the fuck? Because you're expecting it to go on, through to the end to 1979. But the name of the documentary is Becoming Led Zeppelin. So there you go. It's just, who knows? Maybe it leaves it open for maybe there's a sequel that I don't know about that's in the works out there. The slick one can't know everything. Can I?
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
And did you hear the new story out there? There's a new study that teenage gambling, online gambling, has become a problem with teenage punks. Yeah. They say 4 to 8% of teenagers now have a serious gambling addiction compared to only 1% of adults. What the hell are we doing in this country? I'm telling you, the computer is going to be the downfall. I know I sound like somebody's grandmother, but Jesus H. I was talking to a friend about that today. In the old days, your information was safe. It was in a fucking offline computer and or on paper. You couldn't get hacked. And now you can get hacked and you get your information stolen. We were better off with the Rolodex and the file cabinets. We were safer as far as being having our information safe. And that includes governments. I mean, how many governments have been hacked? You think these each side doesn't know the other one's playbook? They haven't hacked it? Incredible. So yeah, these kids today, I don't know, these degenerate gambler kids today, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Cut off their allowance, I guess. That's all you can do. Little bastards.
They're eating the dog.
And topping tonight's Trump train wreck report, what the hell are we doing? What are we doing? We have got the stupidest fucking people in charge of this government, and Pete Hegseth is a train wreck. Speaking of train wrecks, just like Trump, he's a train wreck. This guy's a lunatic. He's a religious lunatic. He's an end-of-the-world predictor. You don't want somebody that wants to end the world, that's looking forward to the end of the world, in charge of your military. Probably not a good idea. And then they're firing like all the generals that are telling them, look at, you guys are fucking nuts. You don't know if you do this is going to happen. Well, if you tell the emperor he has no clothes, he doesn't dig that. So you got to go. So just like the FBI, they're purging people that worked at the FBI that had anything to do with the cases that were against Trump. People that were assigned these cases. It's not like they had some kind of vendetta. These people are just doing their jobs. Fired all these people. Some of these people were the experts on Iran. I mean, now more than ever, with this asshole in charge, you need good security people. And our security people are a joke. Kash Patel, reports are he's fucking hammered out of his mind all the time. He has these meltdowns. The guy's a fucking podcaster. I think he was an attorney. I don't know, some kind of state attorney or some shit like that for a couple years. But he's no genius. I mean, this guy's a loose fucking cannon. And they did the same thing. The FBI, they purged everybody, and now they're doing the same thing in the military. And this is how they roll in autocracies. And they want to put all their people in charge so they can rig everything. They're not putting people in charge like you're supposed to do. You're not putting people in charge that are professionals, that know their shit, that are going to do a good job. No. As long as you're loyal to Donald Trump, you can run the fucking, you can control the nuclear bombs, even though you don't know shit about it. You could do it anyways. We don't. As long as you pledge allegiance to Donald Trump and tell him that he's the greatest. Will you? Because that really, he'll really love you then. All you got to do is kiss his ass 24/7. But in the end, he will throw you under the bus. Just know that. And just know that for all these enablers around Trump that are helping him do all these illegal things, like bringing cases against people where his political enemies, where there's no case, and they're being thrown out left and right. The Justice Department has never been used like this. I mean, this is over-the-top corruption. It's not a little bit of corruption, like regular here and there. But, I mean, this is like full-on, in-your-face corruption. Doesn't Trump, he has a picture of himself on the Justice Department. There's a big poster of Donald Trump on our fucking Justice Department building in Washington, D.C. He's like Stalin. He wants his picture on everything. He's a megalomaniac. And everybody told him, you go to Iran, you're going to be fucked because they're going to take over the strait. And then he's like, oh, I didn't think they'd do that. I didn't know. And then like, oh, yeah, Hegseth, yeah, we knew about the strait. Yeah, you reporters out there think you think you're smart. We knew all about that. Well, if you did, you wouldn't have let it happen. So now Iran has got us by the balls. They're going to end up stronger coming out of this than they were before because they're going to get something out of this deal, right? They're going to get sanctions lifted, all sanctions lifted. They're going to get, they want control of the strait. They want reparations for being bombed. They want guarantees that they'll never be attacked by Israel or the United States again. I mean, it's not going to happen. We want them to give up all the uranium, stop funding other states' terrorism. It's not going to happen. That's why Obama had the right fucking plan. It was all about the nuclear weapons. It wasn't about anything else. As a matter of fact, the bunker buster, who put the order in for that? Obama, because he used a stick and a carrot. Like, we got these new bunker buster bombs. We could blow your shit up. We know it's at a mountaintop, and you don't know how strong they are yet. So it took him a year and a half almost, John Kerry, to get this deal done. And they had not enriched more than 3% of the uranium. We had international inspectors in there inspecting the shit. Then Trump comes in and blows it all up in his first term. Rips it up because Barack Obama did. He said it was a shitty deal. So, Biden comes in. He's got too much other shit going on. You got a pandemic and all this other shit. I think they reached out to Iran, but Iran is like, fuck it. We cut a deal with your country, and then you guys, you don't keep your word. You pull out of the deal. And they were abiding by the deal. You can't blame them. They don't trust Trump. And they don't like fucking Jared, who's over there making billions of dollars for himself, saying he's representing the United States. What a crock of shit that is. And that real estate douchebag. These guys, brutal, just brutal. I don't see this ending good. I really don't. I hope nobody gets nuked over this shit. Like I said, they got to throw a butterfly net on this guy. What is it, the 25th Amendment? He's crazy. He's off his rocker. He's off the reservation, Trump. And it's dangerous. It's not funny. I mean, I know I sound like I'm amused, but it's funny and scary all at the same time. And, of course, he lifted the sanctions on Russian oil. Did you hear about that? Yeah, then they put him on, then they lifted him off again. So Russia's making money so they can continue to bombard and destroy Ukraine. Although Ukraine is really kicking Russia's ass. Like, Russia's got to import people because there's no more bodies left. I mean, for every one Ukrainian that's killed, there's probably 10 Russians getting killed. Those are the people we should be helping. People fighting for their freedom. Ukraine, don't forget, helped us big time. Look it up in the Afghan or Iraq war. They, for a country as small as they did, they sent a lot of people to help us. But, of course, Trump has taken Russia's side. Gee, I wonder why. Why do you think that could be? So, yeah, the country's going to hell in a handbasket, so what else is new? What are you going to do about it? Write your congressman? I see they just got, in Virginia, they just won that redistricting the Democrats did. Of course, Trump started it in Texas. And it's like, yeah, you got to fight back. You got to fight fire with fire, as they say. They do say that, don't they?
They're eating the dog.
All right, that's all the Slick Ones got for you. Of course, don't forget to tell your idiot friends that we are Slick's Open Bar is out there, and I'm still doing it. out of Slick Studios located somewhere in South Buffalo overlooking the telephone pole. That's all I can tell you. If I told you, I'd have to kill you. So until next time, live fast, die old, remain calm, circle the wagons, go Bills in the draft tomorrow. Go Sabres in the playoffs against Boston. Let's bean the Bruins. Weed, whiskey, and Warren Zevon. Peace out.
Hail to the king, baby.